our little...
Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast, stories of inspiration, where we talk about mental health, addiction, religion, becoming a business owner and self-sufficient. For what, when, where, and why. Join us and we can be your local hope dealer.
Inspiration and dedication. I came a long way from sleeping in them pages. I got my life back, I feel amazing. Life's a book, don't get stuck on sad pages. Rainy days with no money, hard work lead to days that are sunny. Looking back, it was all needed. The problems, the pain, the trauma, the grieving. You are now tuned into the prisoner to painter. Prisoner to painter. Hard work, dedication. Rainy days, inspiration. Prisoner to painter.
And now, a word from your local hope dealer.
This is perfect.
All right, we are live.
Perfect. Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast. I'm Nathan McDermott.
And I'm Katie McDermott.
And today joining us today is AJ. How are you, man?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Thank you for having the courage to come on and tell your story. Thank you for clearly believing somewhat in what we're doing, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. So
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are doing a great thing.
thank you. I appreciate that. It's funny. She did a podcast last week without me, and she said, well, Nathan would ask a couple times, and I picked up on it. So as I would normally say, we start in childhood, and then we kind of work our way through to what you do now, what your different definition of success is. I believe childhood shows kind of why you became what you became, or it shows why you didn't become, or vice versa. So
We also like to start with a brief synopsis, because we got the advice that people don't necessarily like waiting to the end to know who they're listening to. So if you could give us like a brief generalization of who you are and what you do.
All right. AJ Wyckoff. I'm a family service counselor at Roseland Memorial Gardens, helping people handle the last part of the burial, helping people get everything covered, make sure that they have the burial, helping them out in whatever way they can. I have 3 daughters, gorgeous, just driven kids.
Good.
And I've been with my wife for this year will be 26 years.
congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. It's cool seeing people come on and say those double digits, man. We just hit 5.
Yeah.
Mind, we live a lot of life together, so it feels like longer, but it's something to strive towards. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you learned in marriage?
Patience. Absolutely patience. We gotta be patient with each other, and because we know each other's triggers, so to speak, and we set each other up, and we just got to get through it.
Yeah.
Talk it out if necessary, or just give each other the space if necessary.
Yeah.
And that's been the trick. There's been no special, I guess, trick to it. Like as far as hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. It's just learning as you go and being patient with it and making it last.
We try to ask, I ask those people that are married, and the most answers we get is patience and forgiveness. So
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
right on the head,
They
man.
were right on the head with that one. So
Awesome. So it's your story. I normally give the spiel before we start the episode, but I didn't this time, so I'm going to kind of give the spiel right now. It's your episode. It's your story. It's your truth. We ask the questions. We do not compare. We just relate. We don't put our opinion in because our opinion is irrelevant, because it's your story, not ours. So we just talk up a little bit just to just relate to the guest, because there's a lot of stuff.
Overlap.
Yep. So in a whole, how would you say your childhood was?
chaotic.
Okay.
Very chaotic. I actually grew up over on the 300 block of Union Street, and back then it was the neighborhood taking care of the neighborhood. All the kids took care of each other. Parents kind of stepped in a little bit. My neighbor kids, fellow kids, whatever, with their parents would kind of step in a lot. My parents were not, they were there, but that's about where it ended. They they fed us and kept a roof over our heads, but we were outside the rest of the time, causing trouble, getting in fights, being pains to the neighborhood and everything. And we moved after, I think it was like the second or third around that area. My parents moved us out to East Jackson. That was about 6th grade. And it was still kind of chaotic for me because I wasn't used to the difference, and there was a difference in culture out there and everything. So I started getting into a lot of real trouble, and more fighting, more I got involved in, just weed and everything really young. I think I was about 12 or so when I had my first joint and drank my first glass of rum, and got real stupid, ended up dropping out of high school, 11th grade, and then went back for a short period of time, dropped out again, and just kind of bummed around for a year or two, and until I met my wife, and then there was a whole other story going on. So,
Man, what was your family dynamic like? Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a brother and a sister. Growing up, we were not, I don't think any of us were tight. We played with each other every now and then and everything, but I think I was closer with my neighborhood friends than I was with them.
Gotcha.
My brother and I are now tight. I don't talk to them at all. So, but yeah, my brother and I, we've really built a relationship over the year. We've had some blow ups and everything. I mean, there was one point in time where we didn't talk for 4 years, and looking back on it, it was so petty, and we're just like, we're never going to do that again because that was just stupid. Our kids lost time with each other, and we lost a lot of time with each other. There was no reason to do what we did, and it was pretty vicious for something really petty.
Yeah, man, it seems like me and my cousin went through that. I mean, it's different than brothers, but it seems like everybody has to learn the hard way to not do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was the hard way.
Yeah. I don't know how this has become a question I ask everybody now. What is your favorite type of cereal? As a kid.
Cereal
Yes.
as a kid. Believe it or not, it's really weird, and it wasn't really cereal. What it was bread and milk.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad taught us that. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money. When we didn't have cereal in the house, we broke up some bread, threw some sugar on it, poured some milk in. And I actually started eating that even when we had cereal because I actually really liked it.
I did that with oyster crackers.
Oh, yeah.
Having salt and milk, like salted oyster crackers and milk. You have to eat it fast though, because they get
I can imagine, yeah. I can imagine.
Bread with sugar.
Yeah, and then I also would sometimes, minute rice.
Yeah.
That and milk and sugar. Yeah. I mean, it's poor man's food,
Yeah.
but I absolutely love it.
Okay. Hey, that doesn't start. The bread's what surprises me because I'll crunch up anything and put milk on it. Pop-Tarts, anything sweet, I'll put milk on. But the bread's kind of.
It's funny, he calls it juvie cereal.
Yeah.
Because I learned it in juvie when I was a kid. It's a long story. I went to juvie for truancy, and I didn't belong there. Really, I didn't. But all these kids are just crushing stuff up and putting milk on it. Anything that looked like sweet, I'm like, juvie cereal. That's what it is now.
But now I'm a Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows guy.
Oh, okay. I don't know about the marshmallows, but Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, I'm a Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows guy now.
Awesome. I feel like I asked that because I swear cereal can tell where you came from. Your even your ethnic background, it could tell how much money you were making or your parents made. I feel like it says a lot. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can tell somebody struggled from
What
they're used to eating. You can definitely tell. You can tell if they've been to prison. You can definitely tell.
So I'm assuming you went to J High when you or not J High.
I went to East Jackson High School for most of my high school time, and then I dropped out and I went to J High for probably about 3 months or so. I only went there for one purpose, and I accomplished it and left. Actually, a friend of mine was being bullied.
Okay.
And one of the neighborhood kids I grew up with, he was being bullied by this dude. And I was like, all right, well, I'll make sure it's taken care of. So I went and enrolled at Jackson High. And I confronted the guy at lunchtime. Got it. he laid off, and that was about all it took. And after a few months, I just said, all right, I'm done. I ended up getting my GED while I was in the Marines.
Awesome. So I don't want to move through any part too quick, but I'm excited to hear about that journey.
Yeah.
Who was your who did you look up to the most growing up?
Well, that's really weird because I looked up to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. You know, one that I look back on very fondly is my Aunt Wilma. You know, Melinda's grandma, actually. I really looked at, she was kind of like a nanny for the first several years of my life. And she would come in and she would, you know, we'd sit down on the couch together. We'd go for walks around town. She liked to walk all the way to Westwood Mall. We lived down Union, and we would just have, she was just great to us and everything. And then I had my grandfather who lived over in England, and he was a big time entrepreneur. You know, he had a museum, he had an ice cream parlor, he had a pub, he had all the stuff. And he was just such the cool guy when he came over. You know, this little short, barely 5 foot tall, round as an egg guy, but that guy, he would outwalk us. He would walk to the post office every morning, or to go get us frozen yogurt at the old Kohl's, where it's Jackson Brewing Company.
Okay.
And not Jackson Brewing Company, I'm sorry, Grand River Brewing.
Yeah.
And there was a frozen yogurt stand in there, so we'd walk with him and we'd get frozen yogurt every day. I looked up to him for that. And I looked up to people at the church too.
Okay.
Particularly Mr. Keeter, that he, you know, he never gave up on us and everything. He always gave us rides to church, and the church bus came by, and he kept stopping by during the week and everything to make sure that we were going to go and kind of keep us interested.
Mr. Keeter from like Keeters?
No.
I was gonna say, okay.
No, not that guy.
Just wanted to clarify.
Not that guy. I couldn't imagine him doing it.
I was curious how he went from that to that.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Well, Mr. Keeter, the guy I was talking about, Dave Keeter, he had an amazing story too. He was an orphan. But,
Okay.
you know, yeah, but he had an amazing story. I don't know where he's at today.
Church. Did you go to church all growing up?
I did, yes. Mostly it was my parents thought of it as a babysitter mostly, but I was very involved at Sycamore Baptist.
Okay.
At one point in time, I was, you know, the bus captain on the church bus and all that stuff, and you know, staying pretty involved for the most part. But it, as much as it sounds like it was a huge part of my life, it was kind of just another part, like another on the side.
Yeah.
I had a whole nother life outside that was just ridiculous. So.
Awesome, man. So, it sounds like you come from a pretty big family. How are the family reunions?
No, we don't have them.
Okay.
It's a big, like the Wyckoffs and, you know, the other ends of the family, we're big, but we're not extremely close knit, whatever. So Raymond is the only, the Raymond, you know, is probably the closest cousin I have.
Okay.
But I got a lot of family over in England as well that are, you know, great cousins. I visited them for the first time this year. Cool. And so I do got a large family. Just most of us don't know each other, don't know much about each other and stuff like that. So,
okay. Got it. Before I move on,
you play any sports in school?
I wrestled and played football.
Did you? So before you went to East Jackson, did you go to JPS?
Yes, I went to JPS.
Which elementary and middle school?
Well, I went to Wilson, Dibble, and Frost.
Also, like out there, out that way, out this way.
Yeah.
Frost was still in Cascade.
Right next to Cascades, yes.
Okay.
who was your favorite teacher?
Oh, wow. I think it would actually kind of be a tie between Mrs. Sage, who was my kindergarten teacher, and then I would say Miss Paulus, who was my 4th grade teacher.
Mrs. Sage.
Yeah.
I have Mr. Sage. They're probably related, but
Where at?
East Jackson.
East Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her son.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. It had to have been a son, not like a husband.
Yeah,
wife.
that's
It
her
had to
son.
have been a son.
Yeah, I had him too.
No kidding.
Yeah, he was also one of my football coaches.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 45.
Okay, I got yeah.
I was one of his first students. When he first got to East Jackson, I was one of his first.
Gotcha. Me and butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
I bought a
that's
shit
one
that
too.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, I think everybody butted heads with him. He is a stubborn,
yeah.
and he's on my Facebook, so he might see this. So
Oh,
yes, yes, I'm not lying.
You play football.
Imagine.
Okay.
I think I've even got in one of my varsity years. Pretty easy,
Yeah.
and I didn't do too bad. I wasn't no great like athlete. I did not have the athlete body or mentality at all.
Mhm.
I just enjoyed getting out there on the field every once in a while.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have to ask because it's part of the show, and I haven't been as much, but I was gonna ask, what is your least favorite memory before you go on to you become a Marine?
Questions about school.
Oh, okay, go ahead. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
I witnessed my mom try.
I'm sorry.
It's many years ago. I think it was about 7 or 8. And I'm fine with it. I've grown past it and everything. So it was an experience that I learned from.
Yeah.
And that's how I view it. My mom's passed now anyway, so I don't hold nothing against her at all. So
Understood.
it did affect my childhood in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
I think it affected it for the better in the end. So
If you don't mind me asking, did she have a particular method that was hard to see?
she locked herself in the bedroom after she cut the phone lines. She locked herself in the bedroom and swallowed a bunch of pills. My dad kicked in the door, got in there, and she was non-responsive. My sister ran down. I think it was either Woodbridge or Greenwood. I think probably Woodbridge to the payphone. Got the ambulance there, and my mom survived. So, yeah.
Before I ask your favorite memory, because I always try to do both sides. For anybody watching that's younger, yes, phones used to be wired, and we used to have payphones.
Yes, they had payphones, and they were 25 cents at the time, I think, if I remember right. And
If your call didn't go through, you get your money back.
yeah, money back if the phone was working right.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot how long ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but my phone was dead, and I tried to swing into a gas station, and I had one of my friends with me. Like, man, I need a payphone. I seen the, and he was like, he didn't know what a payphone was. I was like, what? You know, it wasn't even in the thing. Like,
Yeah,
it was just a shell. Yeah.
I showed my daughters a payphone a long time ago, and they were like, wow.
I like telling younger kids, like, the internet used to be on a CD and you couldn't use the phone at the same time. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the best way to call your parents if you need it picked up was call collect and just say what you need to say at the beginning when they're asking your name, and then hang up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny, man.
What
Oh, sorry.
was your favorite subject in school?
I didn't have one. Really, I didn't. I hated school. Hated everything about it. Didn't want to be there. I think if I were to be forced to pick one, it would have probably been maybe like an arts course, like theater, or when we did regular class, where we did arts and crafts and stuff. I think it would have been along those lines.
What's your learning style?
I have to hear and feel, hear and do.
Okay.
So, as it's being explained to me, I have to do the work. I can't just take notes. I have to actually be doing the work. Otherwise, it just doesn't stick.
Okay.
No, that's me. I get that, man. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell me 1,000 times, but unless I'm doing it as you're telling me, I can't do it.
Exactly.
I can't. If you try to explain a card game to me,
Mhm.
I'm like, I just gotta watch you play. I gotta watch you play and then actually play around
Yeah.
to fully understand. But like, It goes in one ear, out the other.
Yeah, when people explain card games, that's a menace to society. People doing that, it's like, don't do that.
Yeah. Trying to learn euchre was fun.
Yeah.
That's the one specifically I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the one that's trial by fire. You're gonna make some people mad.
I was like, do you know how to play spades? And then they're like, no. And you're like, well, this has got a lot harder.
that game can ruin relationships.
It's-
We're not allowed to be partners.
No. But either we're really good or we get really mad. What was your favorite memory of childhood?
Oh, that one's even tougher because I didn't really have many that was like just a spectacular moment or nothing when I was a child. I did love my trip to Mexico when I was with the church. I think I turned 16 down in Mexico on that trip. I hid my birthday from everybody because I didn't want them to know. But I think that was one of my favorite.
Was it a mission trip?
Yeah, we went down there and went around handing out packets of stuff to people and just talked to them and everything. At the time, I was like just absolutely crazy about Mexican girls too. So it just like really, when you're 16 years old and you're down there and you're just all like, wow.
I've always been partial to the food. Where did you go?
I think it was right there in Monterey, a church called Mount Hebron. I think that's what it was called, if I remember right. A lot of years.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, good, but I think I heard this right. 19, you joined the military.
Yep.
But you said you met your wife right around then?
I met my wife on October 30th that year, and I left for the boot camp on December 6th, I think it was.
Was she too happy about that?
I don't think she, at the time, we were so young of a relationship, I don't think it really mattered too much.
Mhm.
I even told her if you still want to go out when I get back, I'm happy to do it. I do like you a lot. And yeah, we continued going out at that point. So.
Wow. Okay, man, that's cool. So high school, well, not high school sweetheart because you didn't really go to school, but you met young then.
Yeah. She was about 16 and I was 19.
Okay.
So yeah, really young.
Dang. Well, congrats, man. A lot of people can't say they met that young and stayed together forever.
Absolutely.
That's cool. That's really fun. That's cool. So you kind of told me outside a little bit, but what was why did you decide to join the military?
Out of spite of my dad. I was always interested as a kid in what he did in the Marine Corps and everything, and he never would answer questions other than you wouldn't like it. Every time I asked what was it like, you wouldn't like it. It was a 9-to-5 job, and you get treated like crap. It's the most he would say. You wouldn't like it. Well, when I'm 19 years old, me and my dad didn't really like each other much anyway. I'm like, what, screw it, I'm going to join anyway. And then I end up leaving. I had nothing else going on in my life. I actually looked at the recruiter one day and said, hey, if I could leave tomorrow, I would. He looked at me like, really? And next 3 days later, I was gone.
Wow. I ask everybody who joins the military, how do you get recruited? Because it's always a different story from everybody. Do they actively seek you out, or do you seek them out?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes, if they get word from a teacher or something, the recruiters will say, okay, yeah, introduce themselves and everything. But with me, it was a little bit different story.
Okay.
I kind of knew the recruiter a little bit from when my brother was trying to join.
Okay.
And I saw him at the high school. I think I was in freshman or sophomore year, I can't remember. But I told him, I want to be a Marine. That's all I did. He goes, excuse me, and I'm like, I want to be a Marine. How do I join?
Mm-hmm.
If he said you could join that day, I would have probably gone.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was like 16, I think at the time, 16, 17. I think I was 16, and caught him completely off guard, caught my pin. So I joined the VA entry program until I dropped out of school, and then the rest is kind of history on that. I just bummed around for a couple of years before I actually joined.
Okay. Dude, hey, I get it. I like the way you word it. Because there's some parts in my life that I bummed around for 6 months, or I bummed around for. I just like the way that you're saying that. Like, if If I was to tell you my story from 12 or from like, let's say 16 to 19, there's a year of me bumming around. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm doing nothing.
Absolutely.
I'm just doing nothing.
If there's some trouble to get into, you get into some
I
trouble.
probably did
But
that.
you know, you don't know what you're doing after a while.
Would you still like? Would you go back and join like now? Like, say you didn't join back then, but you knew what you knew. Would you join like as an adult now?
Absolutely not. So the reason why I ended up loving my time in the Marines was because of the guys, the specific guys that I got to hang out with.
Okay.
You know, to this day, if they called me and said, "Hey, come down to Texas, I'm in trouble, I have problems," I'm on my way the first moment I can. The rest of the stuff sucked. You know, I did have fun shooting the guns, you know, and everything, but for the most part, the way they treat you in the Marine Corps, in the military in general, isn't that great. So you know, you find the good in where you're at and just accept that.
How long were you employed?
Active.
Active, I was 4 years.
4 years old.
Yeah, from 99 to December of 03.
Oh, no kidding. So you got out before the Battle of Ramadi and all that.
I was in at the beginning of Iraq.
Okay. Okay.
So I was actually involved in the Battle of S3E3.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so you've seen combat.
Yes,
And all that.
absolutely.
I will not ask too much about that because I know that's a very touchy subject, nor do I want to.
Actually, I do like talking about it.
Perfect. Okay.
A lot of us guys, we have learned exactly the same thing you have learned, that talking about things helps people.
Yeah.
It could save lives.
Yeah.
And one thing we have figured out is if you're talking about it and they see that they're not alone,
Yeah.
which is what I love about this podcast that you do.
Thank you.
People see that they're not alone, they're able better to cope, and they can actually contact you and say, "Hey, thank you," or "Hey, can we talk?"
Yeah.
And so when I talk about my experience in Iraq with guys, a lot of times it turns into a hug at the end and, "Hey, you know, I'm here for you if you ever need me."
It's cool how this show works as well, is because I think I'm going to get you on here to talk about memorials at the end, and I think that's the point of this. And I think this just turned into the helping vets, and I like how shit turned.
It's
out
a lot.
like this.
It's a lot. Yes.
What's the thing with Marines and crayons? I have to.
So I believe that all started because there's an old saying that when you take the letters of Marine, they make out muscles are required, intelligence not expected. So there's a thing where jarheads, we're not that intelligent. We just want to go out there like gorillas and kill people and
Okay.
everything. And it's somehow eventually probably some soldier or Air Force said we eat crayons because we're like kindergartners on a rampage.
It just went from there.
And it just probably took off from there or something. So now us Marines actually embrace it.
I seen a lady make a cake for a Marine sergeant that was retiring, and it was a box of crayons, and it looked like a 4-year-old had wrote Marines on a box of crayons. He was really good. He laughed. He was really good sport about it.
I'll send people memes in our Facebook Messenger just making fun of Marines. Because we make fun of ourselves just as much as any other service makes fun of us.
Yeah.
And we make fun of them even worse.
Well, that's how you got to do it, you know.
Well, and that's really that's how men are. I don't love you unless I'm ranting you. And that's just the way it is. So and it seems like the people who hate on, we make fun of ourselves more than we make fun of other people. It's just the way it is. I mean, it's like
It's like an 8 Mile.
yeah,
When
yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna diss myself before you can diss me, because then you don't have anything to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, okay, man. So, how was boot camp? I know that's a pretty broad question.
Looking back on it, which I still talk on occasion to one of my drill instructors, which is really weird, actually. I actually enjoyed a lot of it.
Okay.
Did I enjoy the first couple months? Oh hell no. That was horrible.
Okay.
But after a while, I just realized I'm doing things that I never thought in my life I could do, much less would have an opportunity to do.
Mhm.
You know, like climbing that A-frame. I'm definitely afraid of heights. Climbing that and rappelling down a tower, that was just like things I would never do otherwise.
Mhm.
So I look back on it with a little bit of fondness on it, you know. Was it mostly fun? Oh, heck no. But I still got some friends from boot camp, and I still talk to Well, one of my drill instructors and everything. I have the most respect for my senior drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Maria. He was amazing as a senior.
So 4 years in the service or 4 years active. I don't know really how it works. So you get deployed. How much of that was combat, I guess?
We were actually in Iraq. We were in Kuwait first.
Okay.
And we just sat around for a month or two, whatever. Then we went to Iraq, and I think we were only in there for like, off the top of my head, 3 or 4 months, and then we came back in June.
Okay.
Or something like that. And it was pretty quick too. We were actually training for cold weather training at the time that they told us we were going to be deploying to Iraq.
Yes, that's a complete opposite.
Yeah.
It was an interesting situation. Again, well, one day we're out there, we're doing, setting up tents, learning how to set up our cold weather tents and everything, eating the cold weather meals to get used to it. And then next day we're being told, hey, you're getting on ship, you're headed over to the desert.
That's the exact opposite of what you're getting ready for. Oh.
I think what was is it MOS?
Yes.
What was your MOS?
I was a field radio operator, 0621. So I started off as 2531, I think, but then they changed it to 0621. And my job was to maintain the radios, and I got stuck doing some office work and stuff like that because what are you going to do when you're not out training? And it was learned a lot. It got to the point where I was teaching people how to use the radios and stuff. And
Well, that's a pretty damn important job,
Yeah.
right? So did you well,
arguably one of the most important on the ground
Sure.
because you got to be able to talk back.
I didn't want to say that, but I've heard Jocko Willink in his book say that the comms guy is the most important guy because I mean you'll get fucking bombs dropped on you or just whatever.
Yeah, I'll argue that the grunt is
Okay.
probably the most important, but comms is definitely up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you apply for that job? Fall into it? I mean, how the hell does that happen?
So I mentioned I was going to do that entry program.
Yeah.
Well, my MOS was supposed to be military police.
Okay.
I was locked in the school and everything. I was going to go, but once I dropped out of high school,
Mhm.
they took that away
Mhm.
and they made me an open contract.
Okay.
And that's how I got stuck in comm.
And were they like, what, you got to pick something, or they're like, this is what
No,
you're doing?
this is where you're going.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't got a choice. You're going there.
All right. What did an average day look like for you?
Well, let's see. At the times I was actually with the comm platoon, it was cleaning radios, sitting around in the bay, going over record jackets, very boring. And then there's a time where I was in Kilo Company as their company radio operator. And during that time, they pretty much put me in front of a desk all day because there was nothing for me to do otherwise. Mm-hmm. And then whenever we went out training or whatever, that's when I picked up the radios and did all that. And then there was a very brief time I worked for a battalion gunner. That was the most skate job you could ever imagine because you show up to the office asking you why you even here, go back to the barracks. And then it ended up, my final thing was with security platoon. And those are the guys I went to Iraq with. And we kicked ass and came back, and I'm still tight with those guys, well, several of those guys to this day. And that's where I ended my Marine Corps time, was with security platoon.
So when your contract was up, you left?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't want to, did you think about?
I had been thinking about re-upping and everything at the time that somebody stole some alcohol out of my room. You're not supposed to have liquor in your room. He got drunk. He wasn't supposed to be drinking. He was underage for one, and he had already had alcohol problems. He gets drunk, gets in a fight with a sergeant. The next day, they found out that it was my alcohol, and they busted me.
Damn.
He got in no trouble.
Oh, shit.
So they busted me, and that was it. No more re-enlisting. That wasn't going to happen after that point.
Well, you almost see the hypocrisy right in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh,
holy
yeah.
shit, you can't not see that.
He stole it while I was passed out on my bunk.
Since you said we can, do you care to share a little bit about the combat that you've seen?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So when we were entering, I cannot remember the first town we stopped in, but and it's actually kind of a funny story. We built a perimeter and we had grunts all around, and I was in the middle, all the, I don't know what you want to call us, pogues, whatever you want to call us, personnel other than grunt. We were kind of all in the middle area, and it was nighttime, and we get word that there's a vehicle approaching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you hear all this talk over the radio, and I'm sitting right next to one of the reporters. He's like, "What are we doing? What do we do? What do we do?" And I was like, we get down and we wait for word what to do. Well, somebody shot off. I can't remember what it's like a multi-million-dollar missile system, and this friggin' like cheap old beat-up truck that supposedly had weapons in it or something. He got in trouble for just jumping the gun and shooting it, and it didn't even kill anybody. And then we moved on from there. Lost one really good friend of mine. I actually call my brother Nick Hodson. We lost him in a vehicle accident on the way to Nazareth. He fell asleep or something while driving and flipped his Humvee.
Jeez.
Then we got to Nazareth. That is when you could supposedly say shit hit the fan. That's where the Jessica Lynch, I don't know if you remember that whole story of POW. Everything, that's where they had gotten captured.
Okay.
And we were there. We had a few incidents there, a friendly fire incident. And, that was after we left there. That was pretty much the end of my combat. Like, we did go play police action in another town, El Numenaya, afterwards. But we were actually doing some sort of support for the rescue of Jessica Lynch before we to Nazareth. Yeah.
Through my research, because I'm a history buff and military intrigues me. Blue on Blue was very easy to be there because of the urban setting. So, were they trying to fix that issue when you were deployed over there, or was it not brought to light that early?
I don't know if it was brought to light. Our idea was to fix the urban setting areas to make it not an urban setting anymore. We were just there to destroy, and
Gotcha.
that was pretty much our mission at that time, to get people out of that town, and get rid of at the time we were fighting actually the regular forces, Saddam's forces. We weren't fighting terrorist organizations at the time.
Okay.
And,
so you knew the enemy at that point, like it wasn't
sorta.
Well, you said 95 to
No.
2003,
No,
99. Okay.
99.
So literally, like,
At the very beginning, we crossed the berm.
how was
You're part of
the
history.
anthrax vaccine? I heard
The
a
what?
lot. The anthrax vaccine with the terrorists.
Oh, I got the scar.
Yeah. So
Okay.
was there any like side effects? Like I've heard a lot about it.
No, the only side effect that I had ever while I was over there for my drugs, they gave us a pill that was supposed to kill some sort of bacteria or something that could have built up in our whatever to stop us from getting sick. And then when we got back to Kuwait, I think it was coming out of every orifice. Just it was not fun at all. Yeah, it was. That's the only side effect I ever had to anything that they gave me.
Okay, so I've been doing a lot of reading on the anthrax vaccine and the scare and how they like made everybody take it.
Yeah, they definitely made us take it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service. Seriously, you are literally at the front end of history right there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
It's a point of pride of mine.
Yeah, I would wear that on my sleeve. I probably more so than you. I'd wear that on my sleeve, man. That's really cool. Wow. So you don't re-enlist. I'm just gonna guess here. Well, you probably get out by your 25.
I was. It was in 2003 when I got out, so I was 23.
Okay. What did life look like after that? How was readjusting going from stand to grad?
That was crazy.
Okay.
But readjusting to civilian life,
Mm-hmm.
I already had my oldest daughter at that point, and she was my driving force. Her and Sarah were my driving force of coming back to Jackson. I had been trying to talk Sarah into moving to Arizona or something. She refused because she's got family here. And I've been trying to talk her out. She wouldn't, so I came back up to Jackson. And it was a very rough time. Like behind everybody's back, I was drinking a lot. Now you couldn't tell I was drinking as much as I was. Self-medicating mostly. And I started, my first job was as a security officer there at Westwood Mall. My first job out of the Marines. I was there for, I want to say 4.5 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was very, my friend Ray always called me intense. If there was a fight, I was running to it. If there was a issue, I was running towards it. I was walking faster than most people ran. And I was really hard to get along with unless you got to know me. And that was the difficult part. Like a lot of people stopped talking to me and stopped hanging out with me because I was such an ass.
Yeah, but walking with a sense of urgency can be sometimes construed as what you just said.
Yeah.
But I'm not speaking for you because you might have. Well, no, I'm not being smart.
I know you're not,
Yeah.
but I was an ass.
Okay.
I was. I was stuck in my head. I was better than everybody in my head, and I was fighting off some demons, and I wasn't being medicated yet at the time. To and so I was a complete and utter ass. It took a long time for me to get to where I'm at. So.
Working at the Westwood, working at the Westwood, man. How was it when that place was in its prime? Because I didn't live here during that. Like, I don't know what the Westwood was.
It was actually a fun job.
Okay.
We were busy. We weren't as busy as what you would think in the 80s and 90s was. Whereas actually I wouldn't even call it the peak, but we were at right before it had its down.
Okay.
I've seen pictures from the 70s.
Yeah.
They were gorgeous. Yeah.
So I was there right at the beginning. It's downtime, when it started going downhill, stores started moving out of it, which is an absolute shame because that place really was a gem of Jackson for a long time. And but we had fun. So I had some good friends that I worked with, and some people got on my nerves that I worked with. But
So you said that you were medicated. I'm not going to ask about that other than being in the Marines. How was like mental health while
nobody
serving?
gave a damn.
And then
Nobody did.
how was it leaving that environment and getting out? Were people supportive? Did people understand?
The only ones that came to my aid for support were my brother and my father. Really. Sarah, she did her best, but she was mostly busy working and helping with the kid. I don't hold nothing against her on that. I love her for it, actually, a lot more than what And so oftentimes she got the rough end of it ever, but the ones who really distracted me and kept me going were my dad and my brother.
That shows a woman's love, man, because there's been 100 times that she should have not been here with me, and I'm happy I was only that lucky that much. That's very nice.
Absolutely.
After the Westwood, where did you go? Work-wise, I'm just curious about that.
I had some difficulty then trying to find work and everything. I sold DirecTV at one point under the table.
Oh shit!
Put that out there. Put that out there, right?
Okay.
Are
they even still around right now?
Did that company know?
Like I remember, and I'm like, it wasn't much different than cable, but it was.
But that specific company I worked for, DSN or DSL or something, can't remember. No, they were long gone. They were
DirecTV.
DirecTV is still around.
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah.
That just reminds me like old movies and stuff, stealing your neighbor's cable and shit like that. That's funny, man.
Yeah, I drew the line, and I ended up quitting when I put 2 and 2 together that they were trying to overcharge on install fees. So it cost the company. Well, the company gave me $50 just for the sale, everything, right? Commission. And if I collected $50 at that install, that was mine.
Mhm.
And if I collected $100, 50 of that was mine. Then if I collected 150, 100 was mine.
Okay.
So they were like, get 600 if you can, get 700 if you can. It was free to call DirecTV and get installed.
Yeah.
So why would I be sitting there charging people? So even if I didn't collect an install, I'd get $50.
Yeah.
I'll just accept that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna rip people off
Yeah.
for my sake. So I quit there.
Yeah.
Then the boss there, he tried talking me into he's dead now, so I can go ahead and talk about this. He tried talking me into setting up a robbery at the Westwood Mall.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, he and his friends wanted to rob one of the jewelry stores. He tried talking me into setting it up that way because I knew the ins and outs of the mall, and I was like, hell no, I can't involve that. He wanted to set off an explosion on the train tracks
Jeez.
somewhere to run a distraction from the cops and everybody to get them down there so he could run the mall.
Well,
See the movies.
neither of the jewelry stores I think there's 4 stores in the whole mall.
I don't know. I haven't been there in a long, long time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like an arcade, there's Maurice's, there's Champs, Hot Topic, and Penny's.
It's kind of sad.
Oh, and check me out.
It's
Check me out
sad.
there.
It's very sad because they keep up in their, that's yeah, they do shit that we don't necessarily agree with, but that's not that ain't what that's about. So you got 3 kids now. How old are they?
My oldest is 24. Think about that a second. She's 24, and then 19 and 16.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, all 3 girls.
Awesome. And you've been married 26 years.
Yeah.
Man.
Technically not married though.
Yeah,
we were talking about that.
yeah.
Technically, we never actually got married.
22 or 26?
26.
26. Congratulations still. And technically not married.
But she's still my wife. I
Yeah.
still call her my wife. She's amazing. She does great things for our family and for people.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm allowed to pry, is there a reason why not?
Why not?
Why you never married or
We've talked about it. I actually proposed back in, I think it was 2005. I actually proposed, but we just never decided to follow through with it.
Oh, they're expensive. Weddings are freaking
Yeah.
expensive.
Well, we were just thinking about going down Justice of the Peace at one point, but I decided I wanted my parents. We couldn't just there or friends, whatever spot. We just could never get a idea of what we wanted to do. And eventually 20 some odd years passed by. And we're just like, okay, well, it's just pointless at this point. Let's just
I mean, if
live
you
our life the way it is.
well, in today's day and age, sometimes it's cheaper not to be married.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's like sometimes it's better off not being married. You know?
I will say, if you guys ever want to go on like a getaway date, eloping would be fun. Just saying. That's literally what we did.
She's always been interested in going to Vegas to get married, so maybe one of these things.
They do a Taco Bell wedding
Yeah.
right away. That looks awesome.
I'd be more inclined to do the Elvis wedding than the
Oh.
Taco
Me
Bell
too.
wedding. Yeah,
Me
I'd
too.
be more inclined.
I want a Baja Blast fountain. You got me messed up.
So not the main part of the story. I have favorite parts of stories. I don't care. My favorite part was the Marine thing. I'm enticed with that type of stuff. And really, thank you for your service. But now, what do you? I'm not going to slaughter. What do you do for work now? And when did you start doing it?
I am a family service counselor with Roseland Memorial Gardens over there on Brooklyn Road. I've only been doing it about a year or so, but I completely have fallen in love with the job.
Awesome.
My favorite part about the job is helping people with their end of life needs. So people come in and pre-plan for the burials and everything, or families will come in, they're getting ready to bury a loved one. And it's a consistently changing. Every situation is different, so it forces me to, be on my toes, and a lot of times it forces me to actually be a counselor. Like a lot of times families will, they won't hear the service counselor part, they'll hear the counselor part. So I'll be sitting in there for an hour, just kind of guiding them through this, listening to them, being an open ear and giving a tissue or something, and it is an amazing part of the job. And then when the funeral happens and it goes off without a hitch and, you give great service to the family, they're eternally grateful.
Yeah.
And one guy in this one family comes up to me. I actually officiated this funeral, which isn't even part of my job.
Mhm.
It's just something I will do for somebody if they need. If they don't have a minister, they just want somebody that's just going to say a prayer, I'll do it. I got no problem doing it whatsoever. And he come up to me afterwards and he's like, you're just as much part of my family as anybody else now. Thank you so much. And it just got to my heart. And, I kind of took off running with this job. And I fell in love with it.
Did death bother you before you started working there?
Death of
Just death in general.
No. The human emotions that brought on by death. It's like witnessing my dad cry at his mother's funeral.
Mhm.
That tore me apart.
The grief and the associated.
Watching other people grieve,
Mhm.
and so that's what tore me apart. I'm very emphatic.
Empathetic.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm completely empathetic on a lot of things, and seeing other people's emotions are what tear me apart. And now, over the years, I've just gotten better at not disassociating, but putting myself in their position, and it's really helped.
Have you ever had to handle a family where a loved one was murdered?
No, but I've had a suicide. So I didn't even know it was a suicide until the day of the service. But they actually handled it very, very well. They had a great turnout for the funeral and everything. I didn't have to do really too much on that one because they were pretty level-headed about it.
And I know you said some of the job is in sales.
Mhm.
People, because you are in theory selling something, has there ever been somebody that has come in that could not afford it and you worked with their budget? Or is there any?
Well, we try to work with them. So unfortunately, our cemetery is owned by a corporation. So our hands are tied in a lot of ways.
Gotcha.
But for at need, so they're actually actively trying to bury somebody. You just try to make the cost make sense.
Understood.
I do know the state also will help if they file.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have given people resources, say, hey, try to get this,
Mhm.
and everything, and try to gear people towards cremation burial if they don't have the money to do a full body burial because it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
And so you got to just make the cost make sense.
Mhm.
And if you pre-planning your funeral services, there's, sometimes discounts or incentives or whatever, and there's payment plans, which, like right now you get 0% up to 5 years.
Okay.
So no interest for 5 years up until the 15th of this month. There's my sales pitch.
Is that like, is that like plot, casket?
Anything
service?
$5,000 and over. So if your contract is 5,000 and over, up until the 15th, we can do 0 interest for 5 years. So it's just like putting out a layaway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Which I wish they would bring back, by the way.
yeah, me too.
Layaway. Woo.
Too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, man. There's something honorable about this, and that's why I read what you did, and that's why I wanted you on. We just buried my uncle, and we also buried my my aunt's, which is my uncle's wife, my aunt Susie's dad. So
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, but so Michigan Memorial out in
Detroit area.
Detroit area. Okay, so that's where they're from, is like Romulus area. So but they took care of the. I mean, I could not even tell you how beautiful and how great it was and how nice they were and how well they took care of them. And I just seen what you did, and I was like, I gotta hear somebody from.
Before we started this podcast for about a week, he was talking about how he would love to learn more about it, possibly get into it. And I'm like, I don't think he would like the actual mortuary side of it,
No.
but like the being of service to people.
I wouldn't want to deal with the mortuary. Like we talked about that briefly.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't want to deal with that end of it. But my end, it goes from the funeral home to us.
Mhm.
And that works perfect for me. I don't have to sit there and look at the dead body or
Yeah.
nothing. And that kind of does make me uncomfortable a little bit. I I don't purposely put myself in a position where I have to walk up to an open casket.
Yeah.
Does it really make me sick or anything? No. Just, I don't purposely put myself there. I will go long.
So I didn't realize that. So for your job, so my Aunt Susie has planned for this well before. So all of her plots are bought. She's getting married right next to him. Like, I mean, everything's taken care of. So that's what you take care of.
Yes.
Okay, it makes sense now.
Yep.
So yeah, she's taken care of, paid off. They're like everything's paid for and everything. So
And that's the way we prefer it because prices go up every year.
and that's what she was saying. She's locked in. Like that's
Locked
what it
in
is.
her price, cost, everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
If you guys run into any pre-planning,
Yeah.
get it taken care of as soon as possible because next year it could be twice as expensive.
Now, do you also take care of like, is there like will services, things like that, or is
We
that-
offer a kit
Okay.
for a will,
Okay.
and I'll give it to the person, and I always recommend that before they go and sign whatever they have their attorney make sure everything's legal first.
Yeah.
The kit is actually pretty cool. It has pages that tell you what is required by each state and so forth and everything. So
Have you ever had any very strange requests for services or burials?
I did
Oh, I'm excited.
relatively recently, actually. So there's this one customer. I'm going to keep everything
Right.
anonymous here. There's one customer. I help them out with the burial and everything. And she's a real sweetheart and everything, this girl. And about 2 weeks or so after the burial, she calls me and she asks me, hey, has anybody, I know it might sound like a stupid question, but has anybody ever asked you about disinterring somebody so they could just see them one more time and put them back in the ground?
Huh.
No, that has never happened until now. And you would have to have a court order for one. So you have to justify bringing them out of the ground. And everything. But it was her mother. She wanted to bring her mother back out of the ground so she could see her one more time.
Did she?
No.
I wouldn't have even entertained the idea.
I feel like that would traumatize you because you're expecting to see your mom and then you see
Yeah,
decomposition.
yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I went to my boss after that. I'm like, listen, that's what I was just asking. And she's like, oh.
So I try to give a 10-minute warning. This is a 10-minute warning. About 10 more minutes. About 10 more minutes. We'll ask a wrap-up questions.
Yeah.
But then I follow up with, I never want you to feel rushed. So if I ask you a question and then you're like, oh my God, I gotta make it quick. You never have to make anything quick. I just give a warning. What do you get more of? People that are planning for the future that are young or people that are closer to the end of their life?
Well, since I've started there, I think it's been almost 50-50
Okay.
on that. But the last couple months have been insanely at need. Like we have done an insane amount of burials and stuff lately. So, and we're continuing on with that this week. Like there's a lot of burials coming up. So it kind of hurts on the pre-need end and everything, but it doesn't at the same time because you got these families saying, you know what, I'm going through this right now. I want to get my stuff taken care of.
Yeah.
So
they talk about a declining birth rate, right? Which like if people aren't being born, that you're going to notice a difference. But like, would you say that it's like a higher death rate? Like no matter the type of death.
No, I think whatever is going on right now is people were holding on to ashes until a certain season or until something could happen. And then they're arranging the burial. I think that's the big part. What's going on right now? We got nice weather. Families are able to go on vacation and being summer and stuff to be able to come up here to attend from out of state or something. So I think that's what we're dealing with mostly right now. I mean, there are some full body burials happening, but it's mostly been cremation.
Because I know that people are always going to die. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable.
More and more people are choosing cremation and not being buried. But we do cremation burials. More and more people are choosing just to be held on to.
Do you guys offer water burials? If there's a specific word for it.
No.
Okay.
What is when you pass? What are you gonna do?
My intent is to leave my children and Sarah plenty of money to be able to go over to England and scatter me where my parents are scattered.
I am obsessed with being buried whole. I don't know why, but that is I'm obsessed with that. I do not want to be burned.
That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon. Not uncommon at all.
But you saying that my grandma and a lot of people in my family, a lot of people I know are all like you just are going the cremation route. And I am like I am fixated on I want to stay whole.
Yeah.
Let the earth eat me. Like
Absolutely.
seriously.
There's absolutely, traditional is great.
Did you guys actually, sorry to interrupt, just one more question. Do you guys actually do pine boxes? Is that real?
Not here,
Okay.
not with us.
Okay.
I don't know if it's real somewhere,
Okay.
but no, we just do traditional full body burials and cremation.
Okay. Well, because my
I
Uncle
think he
Joe-
meant like a pine box coffin.
Yeah.
Oh, pine box coffins.
Yes. Is that
I
real?
believe, yeah. those are
Okay.
real.
I think they're the
I haven't done one since I've been there, but
Are they like the inexpensive option?
They are
Yeah.
the cheapest one because my Uncle Joe seriously was like, just can bury me in a pine box. My Aunt Susie got him like, it looked like a Harley Davidson. Like really, it was a beautiful casket. But my Uncle Joe just always made the joke, just can bury me in a pine box. My Aunt Susie couldn't do that to him. But I was like, is that even real?
I do believe there's places that still do that.
Okay.
You know, and I'm not absolutely positive, I'm not experienced enough to know whether
Yeah.
we have any of those coffin shaped pine boxes or not. I'm not sure, but I regardless, it has to go into a concrete vault, regardless. So, you know, I can't see any reason why they couldn't.
Understood. Yeah.
Now my mind is a little. I'm very intrigued by death and everything that comes with it. So my question is: say you want to be buried whole, but you wanted something for your family to have. Is there a way to get partial cremation so they have ashes to hold on to?
That would be a question for somebody who works at a funeral.
Okay.
Which I might be able to get you in touch with somebody.
I would love to speak to
So,
somebody.
But I do know, which is so that a while back there was a guy that he had his leg amputated, and his leg is buried separately,
Oh, that's cool.
right in the same plot, right in the same space, but his leg was buried before him.
Oh wow.
That's cool.
That's pretty.
I just
cool,
watched a video where a
actually.
girl had to have her arm amputated and she had a funeral for her arm.
Geez.
I didn't even know that was a thing until I started working here and I found out about that. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But good for him.
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool.
So now being older, who has the most impact on your life, or who do you look up to now?
God,
Awesome.
100%.
Awesome.
I may not be a great Christian. I don't attend church or nothing. I'm not going to pretend whatever, but I always lean back on him.
Yep.
You know, I lean back on him. I lean back on my kids and my wife and my friends. I got some phenomenal friends, and I lean back on them a lot. But it's 100% God, no matter what.
I love that you said that. We don't go to church as much as we used to, but we always lean back on him. That's always.
You got to have that faith.
Well, and praying together,
Mustard
keeping
seed.
together. Yeah, just that's all you need.
Well, one thing that's helped me with my relationship with God, and I know there's people who will argue it all up and down, and it's very controversial in some circles, but Freemasonry.
Yeah.
I am a Freemason.
Really?
And yes, I'm very active in Freemasonry, and it has actually helped me with my relationship with God. I think I have taught, we could have a whole nother thing about that, but
Am I allowed to ask anything about it?
you're allowed to ask, but there's only certain things I like. I mean, you can ask, go ahead. And if it's
There's a lot. I don't even know which one I'd want to pick. In a broad sense, is there any truth to any of the conspiracy stuff?
in the broad sense,
Like non-specific.
I mean, in the broad sense, yeah. But if you start talking about the cult thing, no.
Okay.
If you start talking about whether we're trying to rule the world, no.
So no new world order.
No.
No new
Try-
world order.
Not as far as we're concerned.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that there might be one. I don't know.
I just.
But Freemasonry isn't involved in all that. What we are is we're the world's largest fraternal organization. We're the oldest fraternal organization. And we hold each other accountable for our actions. And we donate a lot to charities and local organizations to help them keep going. You've heard of Shriners Hospital.
Yeah.
That is a Freemasonry owned thing. The Shriners are Freemasons. You have to be a Freemason to be a Shriner.
Okay.
And they give rides to children to their appointments at the hospital and everything.
What's up with the fezzes?
It's a traditional thing.
Oh, okay. I've always been curious.
Yeah, it's tradition. And it has symbolic meaning. I'm not a Shriner, so I don't really know the whole inside of it, but it is symbolic.
That is so cool, though, that they're a part. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't know that the shrine, how much they do for kids and how much they put. That's fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
That's fucking awesome.
I would like to not ask 400 questions because I will ask you all the
Oh,
questions.
we can always do another.
Yeah. No, we really can, because that is intriguing to me.
That's a story on itself. You know, we could do a whole conversation just on Freemason.
One last one though. How did you get into that?
Okay, so while I was in the Marines, go back to that, there was a lot of Freemasons in the higher ups actually. And so it kind of spiked my interest a little bit, but I never really thought, you know, I'm going to become one or anything. And then I think I've been a Mason now for 6 or 7 years. I'm not absolutely sure, but I found out my brother had joined.
Okay.
Which, by the way, he's a Marine as well. So just had to throw that in there. You know, it's the point of pride, 3 Marines.
Yeah.
I found out that he had joined. And after a little bit, I just kind of asked, so how do I become a Mason?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first step. You ask one, to be one, ask one.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, I'm going through my degree work and being raised a Mason, that right alongside my dad. Yeah, we got raised as Master Masons right next to each other, along with my buddy John.
Yeah.
So,
And is it true George Washington started that?
he didn't start Masonry. There's a
It's
couple
older than that.
hundreds of years before him.
Okay.
What are the parallels between Freemasonry and Masonry?
It's the same. Oh, you're talking about as
Like-
far as like,
Yeah.
okay. So we take the ideals behind, okay, we use that wall for instance. You got to make it square. You live on the square. Everything's level.
Mhm.
Everything, you know, if you're a Mason, I'm a Mason, we're on the level.
Yeah.
So that's where we get our comparisons. We take the ideals behind you making a perfect building, perfect block, and we apply them to our life. So we're always trying to improve ourselves. We're always, you know, I want to be a better man tomorrow than I was today.
Okay, one last one. Is your symbol a protractor and something else?
It's square and compass.
Okay.
Is there something about the compass in the square, like going the right path or something along those lines?
Something along those lines.
Okay.
I could literally do this all day. I have to write some questions when we're done.
We could really go into depth about that, but like you said, a 10-minute warning.
One question though: are you related to any malls?
Anyway,
Malls. MAULL.
I believe so by marriage somewhere, but I'm not positive.
Do you know which one?
I
Okay.
could be
Just curious. My sister and brother are malls.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I believe so somewhere by marriage, but I don't think we're blood.
That was just your mom asking in
Well-
the comments, and I wanted to.
Well, Crystal's dad was adopted.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't put anything past us being really, because we, you know, it's Jackson for one, and for two, you know,
Say no more. My
some
family's
old
half a county.
families,
So
old
Yeah.
families, you know, Wyckoff's are an old family. And, doubt that I'm related to almost anybody I'm walking past the street with.
I
I
agree.
thought, well, why did that just? Did there used to be a flooring store, the Wyckoff flooring store?
I don't know.
No, there was some sort of business, so I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so my wrap-up questions are all the same every episode. If is there anything I missed that you would like to share?
Truthfully, just my whole outlook on life kind of changed when my parents passed away. Both of them passed away within the last couple of years. And I really gained a different perspective on things. And I was in the process of a lot of growth before it happened. But I just came to the conclusion that from now on, if I have friends and I care about those friends, I'm going to tell them hello. I'm going to give hugs. I'm going to be, you know, more attentive as a father, as much as my teenage kids will let me be.
Yeah.
I mean, they generally like to stay to themselves anyway. But I just I'm going to be there for people now, and I'm going to be more
Present and
present.
intentional.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I give more hugs. I wasn't a hug. I would hug friends before, but I wasn't a hugger.
Mhm.
You know, it was all kind of off saying, what's going on?
Yeah.
But now I'm like, you know what? You're my friend. I love you.
Yep.
I'm giving you a hug if you want a hug. You know, it never used to be like that with me. It was more off stage. But
Good.
I'm in this period of growth now that I wasn't in before.
Dude, it's awesome. Seriously, congrats. Awesome. Steve said hello. Steve, Craig's brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve. Hey, Steve, you're a douche.
He retires
In a
August.
few weeks.
Yeah, a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about time. He's like 88 years old, 90 years old, or something like that.
I'm Switzerland.
Okay. Is there
You,
anything I missed? Yeah. Well, geez, sorry. Yeah. What's your definition of success?
My definition of success is if you've helped as many people make a difference in their lives as you possibly can, you can look back and say that you left the world in a little bit better place than when you came into the world. That is success. It doesn't have to do with as much business. It doesn't have to do with anything. You can be as successful as you want in business. You can become a multi-billionaire entrepreneur, and that doesn't mean you're successful.
that's the one.
My ideal is when my daughters are changing lives, which they are, then I'm successful. They're better off than I was at their age. They are doing great things. My oldest works at a daycare, taking care of little kids. My middle daughter she works at school, helping kids read.
Wow.
And then my youngest does a lot of different kinds of dance and everything with Jackson School of the Arts. Phenomenal organization, support it if you can.
Great thing.
But they are doing amazing things.
All three of them are literally changing the world.
They are.
They are changing the world one kid at a time. That's changing the fucking world, right?
Absolutely. And I'm proud that they're my kids doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope I had something to do with that. You know, I think I did.
Yeah.
But you could just kind of look back and be like, you know, it's my kids that are doing amazing. They're changing the world. And that's exactly what I wanted to do.
So got me tearing up. No, that is beautiful to me. That's like, I was told a long time ago, if you want to change the world, start at home.
Yeah.
And it's like they're starting at home in Dear Jackson. That's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it. So,
If you met younger you, would you get along with younger you? And vice versa, would younger you get along with older you?
Ooh, good question. No, we'd hate each other.
You fight?
We would be fighting.
Oh,
At least I know me now could kick old me's ass.
mm-hmm.
We would hate each other. I'm exactly the opposite person that I would have gotten along with when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
When I was a teenager, I'm exactly that opposite person.
You know, it's funny though, because like personally, I aspire to be the person that younger me would look up to. And then like now I'm like, I take younger me's ass.
Yeah.
Like absolutely not.
Absolutely. You know, the younger me was a douche and a dickhead. He didn't need to be here.
If you had one word to describe your entire journey from where you started to where you are now to where you think you may end up, has to be one word.
Blessed.
No, okay. I was gonna say no smushy words.
No,
Has to be a word.
blessed. I have a blessed life. I love my life.
So this week, we did something a little different. Because me and Josh's Dumpsters, I'm going to say a shout out to him. So Josh's Dumpsters gives out every week. And so we just started doing business together a little bit. Actually, I'm just renting dumpsters. I don't know why I said like we're doing business like that, but started renting some dumpsters from him every week. I don't know if you have my Facebook. He gives out like a gas card for someone that guesses the weight correctly. Well, so I'm gonna start donating a gift card to him, and that's gonna give me a little bit of publicity. So this week I'm gonna do that. So for you, $20 cash.
Excellent.
There you go. So we didn't do a gift card because I already got one donated for him. So whatever.
Yeah.
All this is coming out of my pocket. That doesn't matter.
Perfect.
So $20 for you. I figured that'd be
Thank you.
perfect. Couple cards. That's just my business card. Feel free to hand them out. My number's on the back. And then I'll get out of your way. We'll cut off the camera. I was hoping you would sign my name.
Oh, I'm absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys
You
for
couldn't stop
watching.
me. You're not going to be able to read my signature. But you know, it's fine because it's the worst one up there.